Hey everyone, it's me, Chris from Body Noble Fitness Coaching. And today we're going to talk about what to eat after your workout. Actually, we're going to not just talk about that because what you have to eat after your workout is determined by your whole, I'm going to say your whole lifestyle, how you structure your whole day and your whole nutrition plan. And I'll explain why later. But so we're going to cover post-workout nutrition, which is very important, intra and pre briefly, and how all those three things make the true answer of what I have to eat or what should I eat after my workout, make the answer be it depends. Okay, most normal people, people who don't have lofty physique goals or things like that, they're going to think that this doesn't apply to them. And it's really silly. If you understand the science, it's really silly, because when your body does physical activity, the body doesn't say, I'm an athlete, so I don't have these needs, or I'm an athlete, so I have these needs. It just does what you have to do. It just tries to accomplish the task that it needs to accomplish. And if it doesn't have what it needs to accomplish that task, it's going to find another way. And usually finding another way doesn't work to your benefit. It doesn't matter if your goal is weight loss, this applies. If your goal is building muscle, it applies. If it's improving strength, if it's improving your endurance, it all applies, because all of this requires your body to not break down muscle to create energy, to create carbs, to create fuel, to fuel your workouts, okay? So having the ability to recover from a workout is very important just for that reason. And if it's weight loss, eventually at some point, you can't just lift the same weights for the same amount of volume, which basically the same workload, amount of reps, same set, same rep forever. You have to fuel your body in a way that allows you to lose weight, but at the same time, gives you the ability to build and get better, so you can take on bigger tasks to create bigger calorie deficits, or maintain a calorie deficit as you're losing weight so you can get what you want. Same thing goes for building muscle. Okay, those muscles ain't gonna form out of thin air. If you're not doing what you can to recover from them workouts, you're not gonna be building muscle, because your body's gonna keep tearing itself down to create energy, or to try, like for example, supply yourself with the fuel that you need during your workouts. Okay, so that sets up this whole scenario. After your workout really depends on three scenarios. Okay, so you got scenario number one. The first scenario is, this could be example, a person who's getting off of work and going straight to the gym, and their last meal was around lunchtime. So let's say they get off work at 5, they finish their lunchtime meal at 1, so that's about 4 hours, before they get to their workout. So in that case, if you don't do pre-workout nutrition or have a pre-workout meal, which in this case normally not unless you use supplements, but let's get on the supplements later, then post-workout nutrition is going to become more critical. That's what the research says. Some people try to say, yes, you need it and it's important, you have to get it in right away. And another group of people, they say, no, you can wait. And it's like, no, when you look at the body of research, this is the scenario that determines that, okay? So with this scenario, to me, in most of the cases, the supplements become a little bit more important, because the supplements allow you to absorb the nutrients quicker, so you get that protein. I'm very big on using a hydrolyzed whey protein, and I mix it with a casein or egg or both. And because what that does is that post-workout recovery window that allows you to not break down your muscle and allow you to build muscle and recover from those workouts. You open it fast with the hydrolyzed whey, and it stays open with casein or egg, because those are slower breaking down proteins. So that keeps that window open longer, so you're getting more benefit. Okay, that's why I'm partial to that, and I have my own design, because the rest of the world haven't caught up to that yet. I would say supplement industry hasn't caught up to that yet. If you need the ratios or the percentages, I'll give it to you. I get it at a place called True Protein. My code is CANDH510. That being scenario one, supplements again became more important in that scenario. Okay, they are not mandatory in all scenarios. They just make life easier. You don't need to take supplements, but again, some people have busy lifestyles and it makes life easier. So scenario number two is some people will have a pre-workout meal or use pre-workout supplements that have the amino acids and the things like that within 2 hours before the meal. If I do the supplements, it could be a little bit faster. So that person getting off of work, if they got a well-designed pre-workout product, they could say, hey, half an hour before I'm going to the gym, like I'm getting in my car and I'm driving to the gym, and then they're going to drink their pre-workout drink, right? Or they get in the door and they walk up, maybe they do their cardio warm, but anyway, they give it a little bit of time to get in their system, But anyway, with that scenario, having that, your body has something to feed off of if you get the right stuff. If you don't just get something that's high in caffeine, your body has something to feed off of, outside of the performance benefits. So it doesn't need to break down your muscle tissues much. So having the post-workout drink isn't as important to have that immediately. And this is maybe a scenario to where some people, they do that and they do that with solid food. This is one of those scenarios where you could have solid food. If I have solid food, all right, I would usually, you want some fat with your protein, but you don't want a lot of fat. But you want your protein, you want your carbs, you want to eat that. You don't want a lot of fat because the fat will slow down how those nutrients get into your system even more. Protein is going to control it a little bit, but adding fat will slow it down more, so it may not be as available as quickly as it should be. Okay, and you could do chicken. Chicken and rice would be good. Some people are using cream of rice and cream of wheat and things like that, and that's great too. The possibilities are endless, but you wanted to be looking at your macros, be like, okay, I want my macros. I want the fat to be lower. I don't want 30, 40 grams fat. I want it lower, and then you could eat. Or again, you could just throw the shake down and and have some carbs with convenience. Some people are going to be tempted to try to say, hey, I could just do carbs because all I need is carbs. But what they found in the research is when you have carbs with protein, your body has the ability or has a better ability to store carbs as glycogen than it does if you just have carbs alone. So keep that in mind. There's also intra-workout nutrition. So having intra-workout or intra means during, okay? As I go with this. Pre, of course, is before. Post is after. So if you do intra or pre-workout nutrition, getting it afterward isn't as critical. But if you don't do either, then getting it afterward quickly becomes more critical, okay? Now, as I say this also, understand that none of this matters. None of this matters if you don't eat enough protein, your daily total intake. The research points at a gram per pound. If you have people that are they're heavier and they're obese, so like if you have a 300-pound person at 50% body fat, maybe 300 grams of protein a day might not be enough. Maybe it'll be 150 or 200 per day is a good start. It does not have to be 300 if you're heavy and obese also. But again, as I'm saying with this, intra or pre-workout nutrition, you do not need to have the post-workout nutrition. It doesn't need to be as quick, okay? And in those scenarios, regular food may be better. Okay, so the amount of protein that I would recommend post-workout, for me, everything is dependent on size, the size of the person or the weight of the person. I don't just give a blanket deal there because different people are going to have different needs. Or there may be a strategy I'm going to talk about a little bit later where they're just using this as one of their 5 or 6 meals per day and they just divide what their total daily protein intake is by the amount of meals they eat, as long as it's above the other recommendation, you know, you're fine with that, and you'll see what I mean in this case. So for a male, okay, getting in good hard workouts, I would recommend 0.6 times their body weight in pounds. Sorry, I would recommend 0.3 times their body weight in pounds for grams of protein. I'm a little heavier than 170 now, so a man that weighs 170 pounds, 0.3 times 170, that would be 51 grams of protein. All right, post workout. And again, using the shake makes that easy. It's more convenient. Not necessary, but more convenient. Okay, so you can do this with regular foods, especially if you're good with your pre or intra workout nutrition. Okay, for a woman, I use 60% of that. Okay, so instead of the 51 grams, all right, if the woman weighed 170, you know, which is the average woman in the US, by the way, 169, 0.18, which is 0.3 times 0.6, which make it 0.18, 60% of 0.3, which would be 30.6 grams, okay? And that would handle their body weight at 170 pounds, right? And again, you can, in this case, a person taking, let's say they're doing 170 grams, they weigh 170 pounds, I'm sorry, this person weighs 170 pounds, and they're eating 5 meals a day. I would just divide that right in half, okay, and put that, so their post-workout would be slightly higher, you know, 34 grams if it was that same woman, okay? So, yeah, the rules for protein. For carbs, it's a little bit trickier, because with carbs, not everybody has the same carb tolerance or carb sensitivity. So people who are leaner and or do large volumes of work have a larger tolerance for carbs than those that do a low volume of work, you know, and or have higher body fats. Because if you have a higher body fat, you usually are more insulin resistant, less insulin sensitive. So your body doesn't have the ability to put sugars in the right place. Push it in the muscles where it can be stored as glycogen. It's more likely stored as fat, so you have to keep that. But what I would usually do is I would say that same person that's 170, okay, let's make it simple. So if you have your carb intake for the day is 200 grams, okay, I would try to put half of that right around the meal. So I have a solid food meal usually within 2 hours before my workout. Okay, so I would probably put, of that 100 grams, which is half of the daily 200, I would put 50 grams of carb in that meal, and then with the post-workout drink, because I usually do drinks, I would put another 50 with that drink. Okay, now I also use a tip that I got from Dr. Paul Cribb of Metabolic Precision, where he uses he has a meal within 1 to 2 hours after that post-workout drink. And that is also, he calls it the metabolic window. Within the metabolic window, I can have higher glycemic index carbs at that meal too. So like that's when you usually see me sneaking my homemade burger and fries, where I'm having potatoes and or bread, you know, because again, your body's first priority in this short period of time after the workout is going to be rebuilding glycogen. And anybody that knows me know I'm doing this a lot of times at 1, 2 in the morning, is rebuilding glycogen stores. So it's going to take those carbs and shuttle them into the muscles, because it doesn't need as much insulin to do that. Summarize all this. What you eat after a workout, okay, what you need to eat after your workout, or let's just broaden that out. Your post-workout nutrition strategy is going to depend on which one of the scenarios you fall into, okay? If you don't do a pre and an intra workout, pre meaning before, within 2 hours of the workout, okay, or intra during the workout. With intra, I'll usually wait about 20 minutes, and I'm an amino acid person because you ain't eating no food during your workout, especially if you're doing deadlifts and squats and things like that, and expecting that to go over well by eating in the middle of the workout. Okay, if you don't do an intra or a pre, then post-workout nutrition becomes getting post-workout meal nutrition in, the nutrients in quickly becomes more important. Okay, so in that case, I would usually recommend using a drink. I use a drink that's a mixture of hydrolyzed whey protein isolate and casein or casein and egg, making it 3. Hydrolyzed whey, casein, or hydrolyzed whey, casein, and egg. And I get that you want that immediately after your workout. Okay? If you get a pre-workout meal within 2 hours of the workout, or an intra-workout meal, or intra-workout nutrition, you're doing the aminos, getting in the post-workout nutrition quickly, like within an hour, within 30 minutes. Poliquin used to say 10 minutes. Charles Poliquin used to say as soon as you're walking out the door. I practice that more for habit. But anyway, getting that in as close to finishing your workout or completion of your workout as possible becomes less important. So it could be a little bit more than 2 hours, becomes lesser important. Okay, solid food would be great, but you still want to be kind of close, because remember, with solid food, you're going to have to get around digestion. So all of this kind of stems on that, and that's also another advantage that you get with supplements. It's not mandatory, it's not necessary by any means, but for a lot of people who are busy, it makes life easier. Okay, so if you get those intra or pre in, or both, getting in the post quickly, immediately after workout becomes lesser important. Okay, if you don't take in enough protein, at least a gram per pound of body weight, or in some cases, if someone's really, really heavy and really obese, at least a gram per pound of lean body mass, it's going to become per day. None of this is going to matter, and that's what the research said. All right, for protein intake, for men, 0.3 times your body weight in pounds. For women, 0.18 times your body weight in pounds. Okay, and or for some people who just want to keep things even, however meals they eat per day, their body weight or their daily protein intake, which usually is going to be your body weight in grams per pound, or gram per pound of body weight. You can divide that by how many meals you eat. If it's 4 meals, if it's 5 meals. The example I used was a 170-pound person eating 5 meals a day. That was 34 grams of protein. Okay, 170 by 5, boom, it's just simple. All right, it doesn't matter. This just anybody who's exercising. If you're training hard to build muscle, if you're training hard to burn fat, if you're you're an athlete, you're really more of a regular person, but you're pushing hard to create changes to your body and physique, it doesn't matter. This is going to be important to all, because if you don't, your body it has to create the energy for you to cover from somewhere, and you don't want that at the expense of your muscle tissue, because it gets harder for you to perform better. It gets harder for you to get to where you look better. Some people become skinny fat. The reason why they become skinny fat, they handle the calorie part of their weight loss, but they don't handle how the macros influence the outcome. So at certain points, the body eats up the muscle.